Alright, I'm gonna start out with what the mod itself tells us, just by playing it, and obviously, the cutscenes. So, it starts out with Girlfriend being invited to a restaurant by her uncle. The only thing that stuck out here was that her uncle knew her favourite restaurant somehow. That will come up soon. So, when they arrive, it skips over a bit to when they are in the dining area and Girlfriend needs to go to the bathroom. Now, before we get into the encounter with Tabby, something to point out is that the restaurant is basically completely empty, as we see during the songs. Boyfriend and Girlfriend probably noticed this before heading to the bathroom, but we don't get to see that happen. Anyways, so there was actually one other person in the dining area with them, Tabby. He says to Girlfriend,
So, we finally meet after 1 year of hiding.
Girlfriend is terrified to see him, and then Tabby notices Boyfriend.
So, you already started dating another guy. Yet another victim, huh? Listen, dude. This is my battle, not yours. Just let me end this all. Leave! You do realize she is just using you, right?
This dialogue is a bit confusing at first, but we get a bit of an explanation after the first song, My Battle.
How do you not understand that she is just using you for her own success? Like she used me once. Now look who I am. Just a floating skull with an invisible body. I've lost everything! This is your last chance to leave. I won't stop until I get my hands on that little brat. Leave now or face the consequences. Very well then. I didn't want it to end this way. But I guess I will just kill the both of you!
Both Boyfriend and Girlfriend are pretty stressed out now, but things are only going to get worse for them.
Ha! So, you survived the explosion, huh? You think I'm stupid? I knew you would bring someone with you. But him? Ha! Ah! I don't care anymore! I will kill her! Here and now! No matter what! Just to make that piece of crap she calls a father feel pain! Just die!
So this whole thing was a setup to get Girlfriend killed. Tabby, being her ex, knew her favourite restaurant and invited her pretending to be her uncle, knowing that she would come with somebody. He's clearly angry at her dad as well, but why? Well, it's time to have more questions answered. Okay, so now we obviously have the general idea of what's going on in this mod, but greater questions now arise. What happened in Tabby's past? Why is he a floating skull? How is Boyfriend another victim? Or more so, what is he a victim of? Well, the mod page itself actually answers these questions in great detail, providing a fair chunk of the backstory to Tabby, which is a nice change of pace. So let's get into that. So, first of all, Girlfriend and Tabby broke up 1 year ago, hence the 1 year of hiding dialogue. More on that later though. Anyways, when they initially started dating, Tabby was a novice music producer, and really enjoyed his work. However, things took a turn for the worse when he met Girlfriend's dad. You see, Daddy Dearest, being an ex-rock star himself, envisioned the same kind of career for his daughter, and so Girlfriend and her father started using Tabby, more specifically his musical talent, to their advantage. Years pass by, and Tabby finally notices that Girlfriend is just using him, and she doesn't truly care for him at all. And that wasn't all. He'd lost his own career by dedicating so much to helping Girlfriend to become the star that her father wanted her to be. Now, this is where things get real interesting. Once Girlfriend knew Tabby was aware of all this, a couple of guys came to Tabby's house and kidnapped him. These guys were probably the dad's henchmen. However, it isn't specified here on the page. Anyways, eventually he woke up later on to find himself in a random alleyway with no clothes and, well, no body either. He was completely invisible except for his hands that were made of pure bones. Once he processed the situation, he knew what he had to do. He knew what had to be done. Revenge. After another year passing, his plan was ready, and so he did the restaurant setup. Of course, from what we know so far though, it hasn't worked out well, Girlfriend still being alive. More on that later though. There's one last bit of information here, a Q&A specifically. I'm just going to point out the two important questions though, as well as their respective answers of course. Firstly, what is the personality of Tabby in general? It says here that he is calm and strict, not being a maniac or a terrorist, which is what people saw him as, because of the genocide cutscene. No, what really happened was, his transformation deeply affected him emotionally, mostly because of his anger at Daddy Dearest. We will however see his good side in upcoming updates, likely past events when he wasn't invisible. Secondly, was Tabby a human? Now, we already know the answer to this. He was, or rather still is, but there is a little extra information here that I find important. He wears a skull that he can't take off, as you may see. That confused me a bit. I get that him not being able to take it off is interesting, but they say the answer as if it was implied at some point. I don't know, if somebody wants to explain it in the comments, be my guest. Alright, let's move on. Well, right now, we are left with this message after the genocide, to be continued, as well as all the info I've just told you from the mod page. So, what comes next? Well, really, it's just going to be a case of finding out who is truly in the wrong. Girlfriend, Tabby, or Daddy Dearest. Obviously, by now in this mod's lore, these three have done terrible things, Tabby's actions being the only that could be considered justifiable. But, we can't forget about the guy who was the face of Friday Night Funkin', Boyfriend. He will have some kind of role in this mod, I'm sure of it, and I think I have a theory. If Boyfriend does find out about Girlfriend's past, he will have to make a decision of whose side to be on. I think it would be interesting if Boyfriend and Tabby teamed up, but that's only a possibility. Even if that doesn't happen, I do think however that Tabby might have another trick up his sleeve, and that things will only get more complicated from this point onwards. Alright, that's all for today's video. When the Tabby mod does eventually get